what's the word? We're going a bit stir crazy. We've got a bit of cabin fever, I think is the word. A lot of people get it over. So I just thought, look, bollocks to it. Let's do an hour of radio. So I asked my friend, producer, and co-host Andy Young if he was prepared to come on and talk crap with me for an hour, and he thankfully agreed. So welcome, Andy. How you doing, mate?
Oh, great. Yeah, well, a bit bored shitless, like you say, with this snow business. But I do find it incredibly funny. I used to live in Switzerland when I was 18, 19 years old, and used to regularly drive over mountains when there was a foot of snow. Not a problem. But we've had about 3 or 4 inches, and the whole shooting match has come to a gridlock. So much so that I read this morning in the local press that Lincolnshire have called in the army for 3 or 4 inches of snow. Can you believe it?
It's well, I mean, it's one of them things, isn't it? They never let a good crisis go to waste, and this beast from the east, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, like I said on this show the other night, I've got this vision of Vladimir Putin doing the old Superman thing when he blows on the on a lake and makes all sorts of shit, and it's just completely fucking ridiculous. Yeah. But, I mean, what we've been doing, we found. I mean, my wife's not been able to go to work. She's been snowed in. We've been pretty much snowed in. The whole area's been a bit snowy for the last couple of days. Yesterday and then this morning, but we still managed to get out. You know what I mean? We needed to go to the shop because we were running very low on vodka. So we needed to go to the shop. So we went to the shop, and we went. It were pretty easy to go about. How have you found it? Because I know you've got commitments down in Peterborough, haven't you? And I think I understand they've been cancelled today, but you did go yesterday.
Yeah, we went yesterday. What's normally a 50-minute journey for us took us about 2 hours each way. I mean, going down in the morning, it was understandable. We haven't had a decent snowfall in this area for, I think it's more or less a decade. I remember the last heavy-ish fall of snow we got was 23rd of March, 2008, and it wasn't heavy, but it was a big deal here. And yesterday, I just could, when the roads were just so there was a little bit of slush on them, you got people driving at 15 miles an hour. I actually went to get some baccy off a mate on Tuesday evening, and when I was on the way back, I was actually overtaken by a jogger. I kid you not. I was driving along, I was thinking, come on, get him! And then this fucking jogger goes past on the pavement. I thought, oh, God.
What a fat jogger, was it?
No.
Joggers are to be overtaken by it. It's somebody who's watching on Facebook Live, Graham Richardson. How you doing, Graham? Hi. He's put a question in there, just saying fake snow, because there has been a lot of people that think that this is probably something that's been conjured up.
Well, it's not the sort of snow that I remember, and for one very particular reason for me, we was looking after our little grandson yesterday. So once he'd had his breakfast, got his coat and his bloody hoodie and his waterproof suit on and his scarf and his hat and his gloves, and took him outside in the garden. Come on, son, let's build a snowman. Could you build a snowman? Not a chance. You compact your snowball together, and as soon as you try and compact it a bit more, it just shatters. It's that real fine, powdery snow. And you know, the old standard way of making a big ball for a snowman was just roll a snowball around the garden until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
No way. It wasn't picking up any more snow. So then I thought, hang on, I've seen all these videos online of people getting a lighter and trying to melt the snow with a lighter and it all goes black. Well, it wasn't that sort of snow, because I got my lighter and it just melted. So I don't know. Is that some sort of trick people do with the snow to... I've seen it done so many times, and people go, look, what the fuck is this? It's not snow. And I'm inclined to think there is something a bit strange going on with that. But, you know, what we got yesterday, it was clearly frozen water. Or, well, water, you know, that's debatable. What is water? The stuff that comes through a pipe certainly isn't. But, no, it seemed like snow, but it was shit for making snowmen.
Yeah, we've again, Graham Richardson has said that he's got his comment is burning plastic smell when you light it. Now, that'd be interesting to know whether you've actually had personal experience of that, because it's one thing to watch a YouTube video and they're doing this sort of stuff, and really you don't know what it is. And for anything, I would suggest that unless you know of it yourself, and you've seen it for yourself, you've witnessed it for yourself with your own eyes, and you've been doing it yourself, then I would sort of take with a pinch of salt most things that I see on YouTube.
Right.
But, be interesting if Graham, who's listening, has had actual experience of that. And in the chat room as well, we've got King Dweth TV. I wonder who that is. He's written, I built a cracking snow cunt a few years ago, didn't I, Jason? So that's he doesn't build snowmen or snow women. His snowmen have evil intentions, and therefore they are snow cunts.
You can't say fairer than that. Yeah, must have a strange sort of a mind to build one of them. That's all I could think. I haven't.
He believes that it's something to do with the amount of chemtrails you have in your area, and I mean that sort of makes sense. But then you would have thought that the amount in sort of West Scotland, northeast Scotland, they're on red alert and they've got all the snow in the world apparently. And but I wouldn't imagine that there are many chemtrails up there.
I don't know. I mean, we seem to get a fair share of chemtrailing around here. We haven't had noticeably as much lately, in that they linger in the sky and then turn into bloody great big clouds that are the full length of the sky from horizon to horizon. But what I have noticed is we get these trails that seem a little bit more persistent than a contrail. They might hang about 10 or 15 minutes in the sky, and then they appear to disappear, but what you're left with has gone from quite a blue sky to a very milky, hazy sky. And I'm wondering if it's just a different kind of shit they're spraying over us.
I certainly remember that when I've been out in it yesterday and today, and I've been out in it, and you know what my feet are like. My feet are crap. They're just fucking blocks of ice most of the time anyway. But when I've been out of it, I have noticed that it doesn't wet you as much as it used to. You know, you used to go out in snow and you get completely wet, whereas this, you're ploughing through it, and then it's all over your shoes or whatever, and you just bang your shoes, you get rid of the snow, and that's it. It's gone. But there is some.
Yeah.
But there's not nowhere near used to go into and walk through deep snow and your feet would be soaking in seconds.
Well, and also as well, if you made snowballs, if you got gloves on, your gloves, unless they were waterproof gloves, within a few minutes would be absolutely sodden wet through, and your fingers would be like blocks of ice. My gloves are them Thinsulate thermal ones, but I had them on yesterday, and I noticed my hands weren't getting wet at all. I thought, that's a bit odd. These gloves are not waterproof. And then the little fella, we kind of stayed outside to this cheeks got nice and rosy, and he got a big dewdrop hanging from his nose, and his fingers were. He didn't. His fingers weren't on display. But when we got back inside, he seemed quite cold. But when he took his gloves off, even though his hands had been in the snow all the time we was out there, he wasn't wet. It was really strange, that, I thought.
My wife's just made she's sat behind me. Hello, wife. You can't see her, but she's more beautiful than life itself. But she's just made the point, perhaps the snow is so powdery because it's so cold. You know, it's not been able to get into any melting point at all. Perhaps it's because, and we've had -5 when we went out today, or -4. So perhaps it's not as wet because it's so cold.
I think that's possible. Might very well be a good point, but so cold. I mean, going back to the memories of when we used to get a proper winter, I mean, -5 and 6 was just kind of average for a bloody cold night. You know, nowadays, if it gets below 0, it's, oh my God, it's freezing, we've got thunder snow coming and all this shit. Everything seems to be so over-dramatised. But, yeah, I mean, it's the coldest night we've had for a few years, I'd imagine, but I seem to recollect -5 and 6 being quite the norm. You know, even down to like -8 and 12. I think we've had at least 12 below here. I can't remember if we've had any lower than that.
Yeah, last time we had really bad snow, I think, was 2010. So we are talking about 8 years ago. And do you think global warming's got any bearing on that, or do you think? Well, I don't even know why I'm asking you. I know what you think anyway. It's just a load of shit, isn't it?
I thought you'd maybe been talking to Dick Jackson again or something.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got Heath's in the chat room. Listen, it's not many people in the chat room. I think it's because nobody really knows that we were doing anything. We hadn't sent an email out tonight, have we? And we just did this off the spur of the moment because I'm bored shitless.
Yeah.
Hello to everybody who's watching us on Facebook as well. What do I do? Do I have to go into my species thing?
Well,
is that what I need to do?
From what I can gather, you've been not too quietly wanting to do that for a long time and struggling to fit it in. So I think here's your golden opportunity, Jace. Fill your boots.
You know, I'm open to people's suggestions here as well. But I was watching. It might have been David Attenborough or some bloke, and they've got this and they tell you about all these things, these animals and stuff. And I think to myself, how hard must it be to remember all these different species names? You know, you've got spiders, thousands of different species, variations of spiders, and all this thing. And I thought, right, why don't we cut this down? Why don't we make this a little bit easier? Why don't we just fucking delete all species names, all of them, just get rid of them all, right, so they don't exist anymore, right? And then you look at picture after you've deleted, so you can't look at the names, right? So afterwards, you go through a book, you know, the book of all the species of things, and all of them, there's pictures of them, but there is no names. So what you do is you compact them down into smaller variations in species, but you get the information that you need, right?
Okay.
So you get a dog or a wolf or a spider or a snake. How can you get a snake to be the same species as a dog? It's easy. You call the species a bites you.
Okay.
Right? So, a snake bites you, so does a dog. So does a wolf. So all that bites you becomes a bites you, and it's the main thing that they do that pisses you off, that identifies the species. So we've got a bites you, we've got a stings you, we've got an eats you, we've got a squishes you, like that's elephants and that. You know, elephants, hippopotamuses, all like that. That's like heavy and that. You've got a does fuck all. So that's like a sloth. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna do. It's just gonna fucking be there, and you're just gonna laugh at it because it's a lazy cunt, right?
Koala bears and
koala bears, koala bears. Well, actually, koala bears that you see, they carry herpes, don't they? So that fucks you. So I think that's another one that we need to add to this list. I've got quite a few up here, right? Listen, a kangaroo and a rabbit and a grasshopper are the same species. They're the jumps about species. So it fucking just jumps everywhere where it goes. So you get a kangaroo, you get a grasshopper, you get a cricket. They jump about, don't they? We'll probably have to, get David Attenborough, go and film them and watch and see what they do so that we can decide what species they are and what to call them. But you see, can you not see how this idea's so much better than all this fucking, I don't know, delictus bollocks twatius fucking.
Well, you see, I can see where you're coming from there, because you could kind of make it a bit more logical than these stupid Latin names that nobody knows what they mean. And I was thinking of a good example of that being hangs upside down. Now you see that would be a bat, but there's loads of species of bat, and that can get confusing in and of itself. But if you called them hangs upside down, everybody would know what you're talking about. Mind you, I think there's one or two other animals that do that, isn't there?
Well, like what? Vegans.
Oh, do they do that?
Yeah, I think they have one of them things. No, but yeah, you're right. It hangs upside down. A bat, that would be perfect. You see, the problem. Oh God, this is why this fucking world's so fucked up. It's so complicated, right? You get all these fucking different things, and they've got these spiders, right? So one spider.
Mm-hmm.
One spider is different to other spiders, but the important information isn't that it's a spider. The important information is what it does to you. So what you have to do is you have to identify the species, then you have to have the knowledge, or you have to find out what it can do to you. Is it venomous or is it whatever? Whereas, right, if it's simply called a bites you and fucking kills you, rather than it just comes in your house and hangs about, like house mice, house spiders that come completely benign. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to do out. So you look up and you see it and you think, house spider. That's not house spider. That's a does fuck all. It's not going to hurt you at all. It just comes in your house.
I get you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What we're doing is, you see, if you said to somebody spider, right, and you said to somebody, "Ooh, I've got a spider," you need more information, don't you, from them? Is it a tarantula? Is it a house spider? What's it going to do to you? Can I release this spider in your house, in your garden? Will you hold my spider for me? Right? You see, it don't work. But if someone comes to you and says, can you hold me massive and bites you in your hand? You're going to say, well, no, actually. But if they come and say, it comes in your house and does fuck all, you're going to say, yeah. So you don't have to find two bits of information. It's all in one bit of information. We've got also we can have a taste nice.
Yeah.
I'd be like cows, or I suppose that will perhaps be a little bit subjective, but
what about tastes of meat?
Well,
Or
you
taste
can't
like
really do that, can you? Because if something's alive and an animal, by definition, it's going to have meat. Now, what that meat is made up of, or how much there is going to vary throughout different species. So, we've got a taste nice. That would be like for things that people generally find nice, but a lot of people don't like. For example, frog's legs. The French like them. We don't like them. They call them a taste nice. A frog would be called a taste nice. We call it a jumps about. See? So when that sort of confusion comes about, what you'd do is you'd integrate the two different names, and you'd call it if you were talking to somebody who were French, you'd say it's a tastes nice, jumps about, so that they know where you're coming from, that you're speaking in English, and you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, but it is a bit subjective, because I mean, you could point to a snail and say, "Oh, there's a taste nice," but somebody might say, "You're fucking mad eating snails. What, are you a Frenchman or what?" But I'm not French. I've never professed to be, but I quite like snails.
This system works, you see, because a snail would be, right, for you and me, we'd call it a does fuck all, because we're not going to eat it, are we? For a Frenchman, it'd be a taste nice. So, it'd be a taste nice, does fuck all. So, you're not going to have, what, other things that fall into the does fuck all category, like goldfish or sloths. They don't taste nice, so you instantly know they're talking about frogs and frogs' legs, especially if they're French. You see how much easier this is. This is like, when they did Common Core in American schools and they set curriculum, this is what they should be teaching. They should be teaching this rather than the actual stupid names. Because you go up to somebody and you say, sorry. Oh, you go up to somebody and go, excuse me. Nice insectivore trondingbagswats. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. For you, it might be a wasp, right? Which goes into the stings you and does fuck all category, right? So it's a hybrid. It's a stings you and does fuck all, because wasps do they? They don't do fuck all. All they do is they hang around bins, don't they?
Yeah.
You can see what they are. They're like the criminals of the insect world. They hang around bins. They fucking hang around where bins are and all the shit that's been discarded. They remind me of like these hoodlums in New York in the 70s who were fucking stood round one of them bins with a fire in it, and they've all got fingerless gloves in, and that they're going to mug whoever walks past them that looks normal in one of these films. That's what wasps are, essentially. So they're a stings you and does fuck all.
Yeah,
It's a lot easier. I now know what you're talking about. It's a stings you and does fuck all. You tell me the Latin word for a fucking wasp and say, oh, look at that over there. It's a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in imminent danger of being stung by that because I don't know what it does.
Yeah. I get you.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing.
See what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. Sorry for that, folks. I just clicked. I've actually got a Snowmageddon update from one of our listeners, if you're interested, Jace, or shall I save it till you finish with the species?
No, let's go for it.
Right. Well, just 4 minutes ago, I got Sarah Goodley over on the east coast of Lincolnshire sent me a video of Scarborough Lifeboat Station, and it looks like the sea's coming over the wall there. High tides with storm surge on the east coast. She says we've had an escape tonight in Lincolnshire, but higher tides in the morning, so we could easily be flooded out tomorrow.
Oh man.
And she sent me a post by a friend called Julie, but unfortunately when I click that it says it's not available at the minute, so thanks for that, Sarah. I did see something, folks asking about high tides and that, who was going out for walks on the coast. So all those of you in Lincolnshire, make sure you're nicely stocked up, and you've bought all the milk and bread you can out the supermarkets and hoarded it, as you should do. This is a true patriot, and you'll be ready for tomorrow. Yeah, well, I suppose that could put the mockers on us getting to Peterborough if we're flooded out, because we're right on the coast here as well.
Well, what about what's the forecast for tomorrow?
Cold. It's talking about snowing.
Fucking cold.
Snowing a bit, yeah. Cold and snowing a bit.
All right. Well, listen. I wanted to before we wrap up, because we were only going to do an hour anyway, weren't we? So we're nearly at that point. I wanted to just add to the other categories. We've got crawls all over you, okay, and then we've got nicks your shit. That would be seagulls. You know, when you're on seashore, that a seagull would be a nicks your shit. It nicks your shit.
Oh,
Magpies.
wouldn't that be seagulls? Wouldn't that be more like nicks your grub?
Well, nicks your shit. Whatever shit you've got on you, whether it's grub or it goes in. If you've got grub on you, that's your shit, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah.
And if you put your necklace and your diamond ring on bench next to you, and a magpie nicks it, that's your shit. So they're in the same category. So it's a nicks your shit, jumps about, tastes nice, does fuck all, squishes you, eats you, stings you, bites you, and jumps about. So anybody got any other ones that they can add to that, then please drop me a line. I'm on Twitter at Beckham Coverup, and you could probably on Twitter as well. We'll get something through to us on at Raconteurs News as well.
Cool.
Transport? Transports you, yes, of course. Horses, huskies, elephants, they're all the same species. Camels.
But at the risk of upsetting your wife, horses would also have to go in the taste nice category as well.
Oh, but only in France.
Why? Do they taste different in France?
No, it's just that's where you go up to you go into a restaurant and you can have horse steak. I tell you what, you nip out and see if you can find somebody that will sell you a horse kebab round here, but actually then admit that it's an horse kebab. It might be an horse kebab, but they're not going to have it as horse kebab on the board.
That's right, yeah. Before we go, I did want to mention when we were on the other night with Max Egan, he was mentioning about the alternatives to YouTube, and being as everybody's getting deleted, and particularly in light of what Max told us, I thought I'd set up a BitChute channel. So anybody who's on BitChute, have a look for us. We're just Raconteurs_news on there. So we've got the Max Egan video up there. We've had 5 people look at it already. I don't even know how you connect with people on there. So we that seems to be working one way or another. I've only put it up a couple of hours ago, and 4 peers. I don't know what that means, but it looks interesting. Yeah, I mean, Max was saying if you get a video up there and it's quite popular, you can make some serious wonga out of it. He thought he got a couple of $100, and it turned out to be a lot more than he thought when he'd exchanged it for real money. So,
brilliant! So, have you? As soon as this snow pisses off, which means that my wife pisses off back to work, and I'm not distracted all day, then I'll have a look into that and get it up and running. But you know me, I'm pretty laid back, and I don't like to be doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like these people that play games on the they play the games on the consoles, Xbox or whatever like that. For me, to waste the time. If I'm wasting time, I want to just be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And most of the time I get away with that. So
you're a bit like that Mickey Flanagan, that Southern comic who used to be on the telly. When he's doing fuck all, he likes to do proper fuck all.
Well, yeah, it even goes to the point that I don't even like having dreams. Because if I'm having a dream, I'm thinking I'm doing something, aren't I? You know what I mean? So dreaming's work, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't even like to have dreams. So if I have a dream, it's a night's sleep ruined for me. But yeah. Gus, there was something else that I want to bring up with you one day, and I can't fucking remember what it is.
All right. Well, just see while you're thinking about that. Patrick's joined us in the chat room. Evening, Patrick. I gather the weather's not too bad over there on the west coast of Ireland, so I hope it stays nice for you, Patrick. And he's saying, don't forget the gender bender strapadicticus. And he said, can we just tell the French to fuck off? I'm not quite sure what that's about, but yeah, if you want, mate, no problem. And he's also saying about, how's about open that gate and that's fucked category?
Well, there you go. That's a good one. Open that gate and that's fucked category. That's lions. It's fucking dogs for postmans. Bears.
Yeah.
It's fucking. Well, it's in a zoo, innit? In a fucking zoo. Worth seeing in a zoo. And I don't like zoos. I think I went to one a few years ago, but when did we go? 2009.
Yeah.
I think it was 2009. We went to one in Torquay and Paynton Zoo. Yeah, and we saw fuck all really. I mean, it was fucking pissing it down, and all we saw were I took a photograph of one of the inhabitants, and it were a woman in a wheelchair with a fucking umbrella off her head. that were the only thing of anything that were unusual that I took a picture of. We saw a couple of giraffes, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got to see, but you know, I don't like zoos. I think they're animal prisons. But you know, the only thing you really want to see at a zoo is something that can fucking kill you, innit? That that wants to eat you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you want to see, innit? You think, ha, you want to eat me? And we were watching something the other day. This fucking Bear Grylls thing, and this bloke who were a reporter from I don't know where it was from. He was a British reporter anyway, and he was somewhere in South Africa.
All right.
And he goes into this pen with the zoo, the lion's keeper, who has a good relationship with him. It's only a young lion. It's a male lion, and it's only young because you can tell that by its mane. Its mane's not fully formed.
Mm-hmm.
And this lion decides it's eating this this fucking reporter. And this fucking reporter had a rape struggle on it with, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing? Why? Right, I'm a reporter. Yeah. Oh, you're a reporter. This is what we're sending you to do. We're sending you to go into to face off with a lion. No, I'm not doing it. You're a fucking idiot if you think I'm doing that. I don't care how much you're paying me or if you sack me.
No.
He got mauled, bitten a couple of times. The keeper managed to stave him off, didn't he? After a while and managed to get him out. But you see, the thing were, this fucking lion's jumping at him, going in front, and he can't turn and run because if he turns and runs, lion thinks he's prey.
I'm just reading.
He's got to stop in there and back up. It's wild.
Just stay there and fight it.
I'm just reading Patrick's comments in the chat room, and he's quoting Faulty Towers. Stroke that again, and you'll never play the guitar again. One of my favourite comedies of all time, that Faulty Towers. I could watch that. I have watched it dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and it makes me howl every time.
Oh yeah. Danielle likes it. I never really got into it, and I don't. I've watched a couple of episodes. It's not really my thing, I don't think. But But I understand it's that people do like it, and yeah, Danielle's just been saying. And Danielle likes it. She's younger than me, which is weird. She's like nearly 10 years younger than me. So, we're on that same program, right? On that same program when it showed you that, it showed you this bloke who is in Florida, and he's doing one of these shows, and he puts his head in an alligator's mouth, and the alligator then decides to bite down on him.
Oh,
so
nice.
With his head in an alligator's mouth, and his mates all jump onto the alligator's back so he can't do a death roll and just, snap his head off. But he's stuck for like a minute, and his head had suffered a fractured skull and all. Oh man, it was just nuts. Why would you put your head in an alligator's mouth? Why? No matter what you pay, how much you paying me? Oh, I'm going to pay you 10 million quid. All right, still not fucking doing it. I can't spend fucking 20 million quid, 10 million quid with a fucking crushed head, can I?
No,
that's
absolutely
what it's
not.
going to do at some point. It's going to happen, innit?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the stupidity of things people will do just for the sake of doing it on television. It just never ceases to amaze me. I mean, some of the things people do just to be famous on YouTube. Christ Almighty.
Ooh, we've got scenes from Bridlington coming in. That's from the Driffield and Wolds Weekly. Oh my God, there's some big swells at Bridlington going off. It's all coming up from Promenade. It's just knackering. I'll just see if I can put that up to the.
And it's going to be a higher tide tomorrow, so look out, folks. Well, we better look out as well because we're right on the East Coast.
You're going to look at that if you're watching on Facebook Live. You can see that. That's not a pretty sight. We've got Emma here with us, haven't we? Is she here or what?
Who?
This Storm, Emma woman.
Oh, God, I don't know. They started giving them all... I mean, it's a storm. It's a snowstorm. So what? Why do you have to give it a name?
Well, because they need a name. It's got to have an identity, hasn't it? Or how are we going to know what sex it is? It might be a gender fluid storm. We need to know, don't we? So if we put... Again, if you say Emma, they're going to say, well, hang on a minute. Why are you assuming that the female? It's female. Well, because its name's fucking Emma, dickhead. see how it's going? It's fucking stupid.
Oh, you've got a bit of a scrambled video feed apparently on Facebook, according to Dolan Hutchins. Sorry about that, Dolan. Yeah, Facebook do that from time to time. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Till we get something better, we'll keep plugging away with it.
They do it every time, man. They do it every time.
They certainly do whenever you mention Israel.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started on them fuckers. Fucking, what, how long? Have you worked? When is it? Is it March? Today? I think today was deadline, wasn't it? March 1st for all blacks to be out of Israel.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that, yeah.
Sure, that were today. I think that were today. That the deadline. I know it's. I know it's in March. They had 90 days from a while ago. So, I think that's. But you again, it's not all over fucking news, is it? Whereas if it was South Africa apartheid in 80s, it would be fucking everywhere. Whereas this isn't.
Yeah, it was.
It's a fucking joke.
No gritters, no ambulance. That means the homeless and the elderly die all by design. Councils stand down because they won't spend money when in reality they're sitting on millions they won't spend. Wake the fuck up, people. They serve us. They don't serve you. Well, yeah, that's something I was remarking on yesterday when we were struggling through a bit of snow. I did notice there didn't appear to be any salt on the roads whatsoever, and we were travelling on a main trunk road, and I just thought that is really bizarre, because normally they're out as soon as it looks like getting cold with the gritters. But I've noticed the gritters have been noticeably absent. I've seen Tuesday tea time just before the show, I nipped up to the next village to the chip shop, and I followed a gritter, met a gritter on the way back, and then I saw one go out at midnight last night, and they're the only two gritters stroke snowplows I've seen, and we only live just up the road from the depot, so they all come past our house when they leave. So there does seem to be some sort of agenda there where they're making damn sure the bloody roads aren't clear. It's almost like they're trying to cause chaos. Was it all planned, so they're going to invite the army into Lincolnshire? I don't know, but it seems bloody odd to me.
Yeah, it's strange. It's amazing that I know more about the about American law than I do about British law, but I don't know if we've got an equivalent to the Passi Caventardis law in America that's in the Constitution, which forbids military intervention on American soil, which is I think I don't know if it's been repealed, but I know they tried to repeal it a bit. But when you were talking about trunk roads, is that a reference to, the word trunk road? Is that a reference to a squishes you and carries you about?
Well,
see, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we haven't had elephants in Lincolnshire, certainly in my memory, but I think there were 1 or 2 thousands of years ago. They've discovered remains of animals from very temperate climates all over the British Isles, haven't they? But I don't think they're wandering about in the wild. Well, if they are wandering about, they must be invisible squishes you and carries you about. Because, well, even then you'd see the footprints, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course you would, yeah. See, it squishes you and carries you about. That's quite specific, isn't it? Because it does carry you about, but it squishes you as well. Right? And so you're not going to get that mixed up with an hippopotamus, are you? Because that just squishes you. Won't carry you about. Nobody rides on an hippopotamus, do they?
Not that I've seen. No.
There you go.
I'm just thinking about some of these animals, though. There could be a bit of confusion, because things like raccoon. Now, raccoons, we better get topical here. Raccoons, I mean, we've all seen the episode of Family Guy where he gets one stuck to his face and it's clawing his face off. Raccoons are supposed to be right nasty little buggers. But our good friend over in Canada, he had a raccoon sort of come in his garden, and he thought, I'm going to feed that by hand. And I said, Rick, how the hell are you going to feed a... He said, I'll do it. And he just kept leaving trails of food for it, and it got closer and closer, and eventually it comes and sits and eats out of his hand now. So what would that be then? Well,
that would be like, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ, Andy, what is wrong with you? Of course it would be tells you the news.
Oh, of course.
From its arse. Because we're Raccoon Turds News. So we get our news from a raccoon's arse. So it tells the news. It's a soothsayer. Listen, I know that it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system, but what is a perfect system? What is a perfect system? Giving every single thing an individual name. Shall we name as fingers? Jeff, Dave, Peter Pointer, little fucker, and yeah, Tommy Thumb. So, what do we do? Do we need to generalise things? Look, there's a dumbing down going on, as we know. Right? There's a real dumbing down going on, as we know.
Oh God, yeah.
For a start, for a start, people will say and will revere people and say, "Oh, they've got a degree. They've got a degree." Right? My wife's got a degree.
Mm.
When Donald Trump was elected, she said, "I don't think he should be in the president actually because he's been living in that mansion with all those young women all those years." So, and she's got a piece of paper that says she's got she's got a piece of paper that says she's clever, right?
Well, Heath reckons you should set her own mic up for her.
He promised he'd never tell anyone.
And I've not told anybody. I'm sat here on my own. There's only me and you in room. Isn't there? There's only me and you in room. I've kept to my promise.
Winner.
Oh, no. Oh dear. Oh well. There you go. That's my chances of anything tonight. Any action tonight. Out of the question.
He's saying they've got lightning snow up in Geordieland, so that's it's a bit lightning snow. What the fuck's that? It's like thunder snow, isn't it? It's just snow.
It's fucking snowy. Essentially, it's just snow. You know, I know we give sense of our time in this country, and we all moan, we all go on about, and I've seen all these memes about fucking, and even when we went to Co-op earlier on, and we only went to get some vodka because we were nearly out of vodka at dinner time. And I said, I'll tell you what, in case it snows again, let's go to the shop now while we can perhaps get out.
Yeah.
We went and got out and went to get some vodka, but there were blokes with like 2 bottles of milk and 2 loaves of like brown bread, and you know that they're not the type. Because where I live, you know where I live, they're not the type to be having brown bread, and it's just that's all that's left. And it's like they talked into it, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Talked into it by news. Oh my God, shelves, all shelves are gone, and now it's gone into social media. So they're looking at social media, and I've seen a number of posts. I went shopping yesterday. I said to Daniel, so I'll go and try and go shopping, and I really shouldn't have done. Really, fuck me up right bad, but I went and did shopping at Morrison's. And it was brilliant because it was snowing like fuck. And there were nobody in Morrison's.
Yeah, same when we went to shop today.
At my own pace, and I got what I needed. And then I went and did my shit and got off. But by the time I'd done my shopping, there were another 3 inches on my car.
Gee, really?
Yeah.
I think that's
in that time it had just all come down, and then it was just fucking gridlock. It took me about 45 minutes to get home, and it really is about a 5-minute journey.
Wow.
It took me 45 minutes to get home.
Jeez. Well, last night when we was coming home, we wouldn't have actually got home in the 2 hours that it took. I mean, here's the weird bit. We set off home from Peterborough, and as I'm sure you know, and many of our listeners will know, round Peterborough, it's one of these new towns, and it's all dual carriageways, parkways they call them. And as we set off down the parkway to come home, the road was clear. There was no snow, apart from on the odd shoulder, and it was bone dry. And we got about a mile down the parkway, and suddenly everything stopped. And I thought, that's a bit weird. It's all clear. And I thought, I wonder what's happened there. And eventually we got up to it, and there was somebody had spun in the near side lane, and the fall before it had some side on. I thought, how the hell's that happened on a clear, dry road? But it did happen. Then when we got back to bloody Boston, we got within about 7 or 8 miles of Boston, and it all stopped again. So we diverted off to come round the old roads, and lo and behold, Sally's sat-nav are absolutely worse than useless sat-nav. it tells you that there's a delay coming up, but it never navigates a way around it. And when you try and navigate a way around it, it tries to take you back into the bloody queue you've just got out of. But we diverted. We come miles round to get home, but we did get home and we could see the traffic just gridlocked outside. God knows what happened there. But there really wasn't anything major when we got back. There was a little bit of snow on the back roads, like.
I didn't take it. You didn't see any military that were knocking about or like that. You didn't see anything that where they said, "Oh, the military's been sent in and everything." I just want. I also want. I'm going to ask you that, but I also want to just bring to your attention. I had a tweet earlier on when I said that we're going to do a show at 7:00 about Snowmageddon and all this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. The settler replied to me. The settler who's a listener who listens regularly, who I believe is based in Skegness,
right.
said local farmers saved the day by clearing roads and rescuing motorists. Council did fuck all.
That sounds about normal. I know in the rural areas in Lincolnshire, the farmers do a lot of the road clearing because it is, there ain't a lot of population here and it's quite spread out. There's a lot of little back roads that don't get used that much, and the farmers do tend to do a big lot of the keeping them clear. I think they get quite well paid for it. But I did see some headline somewhere about farmers were actually pleading with people not to leave one particular village because it just wasn't safe. So, yeah, well done to the farmers who are out there helping people out, keeping the roads clear, keeping them open, and advising people not to do things that are too stupid.
Yeah, I just want to give credit to the guy that sent me this tweet. His name's The Settler, but he's at Robert Lunn. So, and I believe he's from Skegness. So, I think what we do, what we do, when it gets snowy like this, right, and people go, oh my God, if we lived in this country or that country, because it's incorporated in their driving tests, driving on that, because they're used to it. We're not used to it. People do get afraid, and it's completely because the vehicle's acting in a manner that they're not trained in, that they don't know, that's completely alien to them, and they've not been told how to deal with a skid and all that sort of thing. But we sort of beat ourselves up about it, and I don't think we should. I think what we should do is we should just accept, right, we're going to get some snow. It only happens. How long is it since this happened? God, must be 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe.
No, it's 10 years since we got snowed in, so, yeah.
Yeah, and so we then get so hung up and beat ourselves up about it. You see these things on Facebook about, people grabbing the loaves of bread, and you see all these things about people not being able to drive. It's only a bit of snow and all this. And we actually do beat ourselves up over it. Whereas, really, it only happens probably once out of 1,000 days. In your lifetime, in your driving lifetime, once out of 1,000 days are you going to have to drive in these conditions. And yet, we beat ourselves up over the fact that we can't do it. We can't do it because we're not trained in it, we're not used to it, it's not our fucking bag. You get some Scandinavian bloke coming over here, he wouldn't be able to cope with some of the things that we do. That's just the way shit is, and would think it's weird. It's just, I can't believe, as a nation, we do fucking do that. We beat ourselves up over every single fucking thing. And you know what it all turns out and it ends up in is we're beating ourselves up over Brexit. We're beating ourselves up over it. We are.
Are we?
We're like saying, oh my God, we might have done something wrong. No, you haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when you think about it like that way, if well, in our area, it's a decade since we got snowed in. I don't think the town's entirely cut off today. It might be tomorrow, whatever. But when you think about it, in those intervening 10 years, there's been an awful lot of people who've passed their driving test and now probably make up somewhere between 10% and 20% of the road users. So you've got them. They've never driven in anything other than a sprinkling of snow, so they've absolutely got no idea. Now, what I used to do when I was a young lad before I went to live in Switzerland, when it comes snowy, I lived out in the countryside. There was a lot of old deserted airfields near us. I used to go out, get on an airfield, and practice driving in the snow. Skidding, steering into skids, handling skids, handbrake turns, all that sort of shit. And I was confident by the time I went out driving in it. I had one or two tricky moments on the way to the airfield, like, but there you go.
But you see, what we've got now is we've got this fucking generation of people, right? We've got this generation of people that will probably, there'll be a time within their lifetime that they'll pass their driving test on an app.
Sorry?
They'll pass their driving test on an app.
Yeah, possibly.
They will have very little knowledge of real world stuff. But again, it forms an industry, doesn't it? You think about it, you get a lot of bad drivers. You've created an industry. They're all into each other, and you've created this industry of people who are suing each other through their various insurance companies. So the money that's being dragged from these young drivers, and believe it's fucking extortionate.
Oh, yeah.
It's like $3.5–4 grand to insure an 18-year-old on a small engine car. And so all that is, it's just exchanging money between each other because that's all they're doing. It's like creating this exchange.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's no to do with safety. It's not to do with fuck all. It's just to do with fucking generating revenue.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The young people of today, they're taking it.
Yeah, of course they are. They're taking everything that's coming to them. They've obviously got their head between their knees and braced themselves. I do see that Patrick's made an interesting point in the chat room. He said, I wonder what else is going on while they have us thinking about this snow shit. Because I've noticed the things that have been flashing across the news lately, particularly this shooting in Florida, the Parkland school. It was so bloody obvious that it wasn't what we're told. I'm thinking that can't be really anything important. It's got to be a diversion from something else. What the hell else is going on? And, Max posited the other night, perhaps that's the diversion from the 5G. Maybe this is a diversion from the 5G because I believe they're rolling it out in Isle of Wight now, aren't they?
Yeah, according to Webby, we had Webby on, didn't we? No, we don't have Webby on, but Webby introduced people to our show from the Isle of Wight who were in some sort of campaign group. I don't know whether that campaign group was pro or con or whatever. I didn't look at it, but it's what are they distracting us from? I think they're distracting us on all levels. And I don't think there's any. I think this snow shit and the beast from the east. For God's sake, just look at it. It's called the beast from the east. It's from Siberia. It's Russian. Okay, so we are. This is what psychologically we're supposed to do. We're supposed to equate this snow, this bad weather, this disruption, this I can't go to work, this I've got to stop at home because my kids' school's closed, this I can't get to the shops. This we're supposed to equate this with Russia, with Putin.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. That's simply what it's all about.
You reckon?
Right?
Yeah.
This beast from the, they could have called it this Siberian blast, couldn't they? They could have called it, this weather front coming in from Siberia, and this is how it. But no, it's called the beast from the east.
Yeah.
What's the beast? The beast is the devil. What's the fucking who's in the east? Where's it coming from? It's coming from Russia. It's coming from Putin. Now look at that. Just look at that as singularly. Now, what's going on in Syria? Putin has just initiated these no-fly zone ceasefire times in Syria. Every single day there has to be a no-fly zone, a ceasefire, and he's implemented that, right? So what he's done is that he's forced that on the West. The West can't do anything, and neither can they. He's implemented this ceasefire. So you got Vladimir Putin. They call him what Boris Johnson recently has been saying that there's saying there's a case for airstrikes in Syria, right? So you've got America that's fucking sitting there, and then you've got Britain that's sitting there, and they're all itching to go into fucking Syria.
Yeah.
And then you get Putin imposing this no-fly, no-bombing ceasefire time, yada, yada, yada. And fucking Putin's got these cunts fucking sorted, big style. He's got them covered. I don't think Putin's the fucking good guy that everyone thinks he is, but I do think that he's the one thing holding off everything that's supposed to be going on. So what happens is we've got Boris Johnson saying there's a case for going into Syria and doing airstrikes on Syria. Then you've got Putin, who's put these ceasefires into place and stopped all this bombing shit going on. We know that we're at the breaking point now where people are going to realise that America has been arming these rebels that have been trying to do this, and most of them are foreign rebels, and people are getting it's being reported more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a sideshow, but it's a sideshow, right? But along with it being a sideshow and something to distract us, because it's all snow and everything, and we're all going, oh, look at it, some of it burns and some of it done and fucking does this and does that and does other, or I've met a snowman, or I've fucking done this with snow, or whatever, it's snowing and I can't go to work, and it's a distraction. But the name of it, the beast from the east, is so that while we're all watching the snow, we're not watching what's going off with the airstrikes that they're trying to get on Syria, and we're also having subliminally put into his mind that there's the beast, the devil, is in the east, which is Russia, and this is where these things are coming from, and that's what anyway. That's what I think about it. But yeah, I think we should. We were supposed to do an hour. We've nearly done 2.
We didn't start till well after the half hour, so it's about an hour. So wrap it up now if you like.
Yeah, we'll get it some. I can see you're knackered, I'm knackered.
Before we go, I'd just like to wish everybody well out there and hope that nobody has anything too catastrophic in this weather, because it is a bit nasty and cold. So keep warm, folks, keep safe, and hope you've got plenty to eat and plenty to drink, and you ride it out and come out the other side with a big grin on your face.
And listening to Raconteurs news.
Yeah. All right, folks.
All right, mate. Well, you wrap it up.
No, you're the man. You wrap it up. Sorry?
We'll be back Monday. I don't know who's going to be on. I'm going to try and book a guest very soon.
We've got a booking for Monday. Webby lined us one up. Michael Feely, Sasmic Publishing.
Oh, Feely's on, yeah. Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's Tuesday you need somebody for.
Paul will be co-hosting with me on Raconteurs News on Monday night.
He might be if he can get home from work in time. If not, it'll be me and thee.
Right, okay. But yeah, Michael Feely's going to be on with us on Monday, and Tuesday we'll have a show as well. So thanks for listening this evening. Thank you very much to you, Andy. Thank you to everyone who joins us in the chat room, everyone who's watching on Facebook Live. I know there's not been many tonight. It's not been very... it was a little bit last minute. So just think about it. Think about it. And don't, whatever you do not get on the wrong side of a bites you. Take it easy. It's around a bit. Bye.
Night all.
Get the wiggies cause I'm off to the hole in the road. I'm wagging off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night and I'm not looking pretty. See, I got this job downtown, selling knocked off ladies watches for £1. For a really dodgy man that I met in a dodgy cafe. You know, he said to me, the girl who sold these yesterday wasn't selling very carefully. Police came along and took her and all my watches away. So if you see some coppers, you grab my stuff and leg it, boy, right away. I'll be in the cafe. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. It's been a few hours and I haven't sold enough for my bus fare home. Street selling is pretty tough, so I turn on the charm for the lunchtime rush with a smile and a wiggle on my schoolboy touch. So the charm is working in the underground. There's a crowd of men and women gather round, and the watches they are going, the money is a flowing. Think I'll take a little extra, stick it in my pocket, spend you later. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I haven't sold a watch for an hour and I'm dying for a slash. I've had enough of this, so I'm off for a piss. Then a quick walk back round to the cafe, sitting at his table drinking tea. Looks at me suspiciously, then with a glance at the watch he says, how did you do? He paid me a couple of quid, then he said, would you like to come and work another day? I said I'd come back down on Friday, and to that he said okay. So with £2 in my pocket and another 5 in my shoe, I nipped down to Castle Market, where a man who looks like Leo Sayer is selling pots with cockles and prawns. You make me feel like dancing. Then off back to dinner on the Wiggies and then home. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way